Hey, here we are talking about menopause and chocolate. Because you know Valentine's week, and why not? Valentine's. Chocolate. Okay, first of all, did you know chocolate comes from a cacao tree and it's, about the size of a papaya, yellow skinned, tastes like shit. How do I know? Because one of those trips to the Caribbean, we went to a plant and we tried it, the cacao bean. It is awful. It's absolutely, there's no Milky Way in that thing. Seriously, I don't know how that happened. And it helps explain some of the health benefits, though. Yeah, the awfulness of it. I used to have a friend that used to say, the worse that shit tastes, the better it is for you. I think this is kind of true of chocolate, right? Way back, Christopher Columbus days, the Aztecs and the Mayans used to keep cacao for the kings, right? And use it as a brew that gave them tons of energy, helped them feel like super gods, right? Why? Well, first of all, because it tastes like shit. Secondly, because they didn't mix it with a ton of sugar. So, tons of antioxidants in the cacao bean. But the cacao bean, it's like, think of it kind of like a pomegranate fruit. And it's this, like the seeds in the pomegranate fruit, except they're like that big and they're awful. They really are awful, guys. I'd encourage you to try it sometime. Now, through the years, we've processed the heck out of this so that this stuff actually tastes good. But cacao, C-A-C-A-O. This is closest to its original form. They dry it out, and then you get cacao like we know it. Now, cacao it looks a lot like baking cocoa, except it hasn't been stripped down. It hasn't been chemically processed. It's still got a lot of the antioxidants. It's still got some fiber. It's even still got some protein, some magnesium, and some potassium, right? So actually relatively healthy for you. You didn't hear sugar in that ingredient list, did you? Again, tastes like shit. Good for you. Now, one of my favorite uses for it is when I'm making like a hot cocoa kind of thing. I actually will use coconut oil, hot water, coconut oil, and cacao, right? It's not full of sugar, so it's not Swiss Miss, but it does make me rather happy. It gives me some good fats, gives me some good antioxidants, gives me a little hint of chocolate flavor, right? So there's a yummy little thing. The magnesium, why do we need magnesium in menopause? To poop. Helps you poop. Helps you poop. Also helps with muscle soreness. It's also kind of a feel-good hormone, or feel-good supporter. Not a hormone, it's a feel-good supporter. Okay, but then we continue to process the heck out of it, and we get cocoa powder, COCOA, right? Which means we continue to strip all the stuff out of it so that it's still tastes like shit, but there's no fiber or protein or anything in it. So it's kind of like the cheap shit from the cacao. You've got the cacao to the cocoa bean to cacao powder to cocoa powder. It's really just the chocolate flavor. But until you add sugar to it, it still tastes like shit. Then we add a ton of sugar to it and we get Milky Ways and Almond Joys. And it makes a girl happy, right? But at this point, right, now we're going from the facts that chocolate has antioxidants in it. Chocolate is good for you. Yeah, if you get the kind that says, this one doesn't have it, that says 95% pure chocolate, because you read the ingredient lists on those bars, you know what's in them? Cacao and a little fat. Now, if you're used to eating sugar, you are going to think that tastes terrible. You would be right. But if you're not used to eating a lot of sugar, it's actually very sweet and quite delicious. But you kind of have to be sugar-free for a while. You can go down to about 85% dark chocolate and still get, relatively speaking, some health benefits from cacao, right? But once you start getting down into the 70%, right, then the ingredient starts looking like semi-sweet chocolate, which contains sugar, chocolate, butter, soy, sugar, cane juice sugar, apple puree sugar, pineapple sugar. So as soon as you start mixing all of the sugar with the cacao, now the chocolate's not quite so good for you, right? It's kind of like that fine balance between cortisol, testosterone, and growth hormone when you're lifting heavy weights, right? Up to a certain point, the benefits of the testosterone and the growth hormone far outweigh the cortisol. So you want to lift some. But then at some point, around 30 minutes, right, then the benefits are far less than the harm that the cortisol is causing you, right? Same thing with the chocolate bar. The cacao is very good for you, right up until you add sugar to it. And when you add over 30% sugar to it, now the benefits of the chocolate are kind of outweighed by the harm of the sugar. So, not your best bet. Now, a couple of other things of note. Chocolate is also caffeinated, so you might want to watch that chocolate consumption during the evening hours. And what if, to satisfy that need for chocolate, you just had a couple of squares of dark chocolate? Now, that bar I showed you breaks down right into like a little 2x2. Even just half of that might satisfy you for your sugar, for your cacao, for the benefits without going overboard, right? As you get your big heart-shaped box of chocolate this weekend coming up, whether you're buying it for yourself or receiving it, I would encourage you to enjoy your chocolate, right? To sit down and to not just scarf it mindlessly while you're watching movies, but sit down with it, enjoy it, taste the flavor of it, enjoy just one or two pieces of it. I've got a friend who actually does this with chocolate chips. I don't know how she only will eat like 2 chocolate chips. I need a little bit more than that if I'm going to bother. But if that's all you need, then just eat what you need, right? And then finally, on a non-food treat, hashtag non-food treats, what if you just went for a walk and held hands? Wouldn't that be fun? And it would boost your oxytocin, your dopamine, your love hormones. All more better for you than cocoa powder. Hope that was a little bit informative for you. Enjoy your afternoon, and we'll talk soon.